Hello from the lookout. We're this, yeah, it doesn't look like the lookout. We don't have fences like this at our place. We're in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and at the home of our friends Stephanie and Chad. And thanks, they're letting us hang out here a couple of nights. Okay. And this is God's word for today, from the lookout to the holler, from life's highest places to its lowest points. All right. Today we're in Matthew 25, 14 to 30. 25, 14 to 30, reading from the New Living Translation. Jesus says, "Again, the kingdom of heaven can be illustrated by the story of a man going on a long trip. He called together his servants and entrusted his money to them while he was gone. He gave 5 bags of silver to one, 2 bags of silver to another, and 1 bag of silver to the last, dividing it in proportion to their abilities. He then left on his trip. The servant who received the 5 bags of silver began to invest the money and earned 5 more. The servant with 2 bags of silver went to work and earned 2 more. But the servant who received the 1 bag of silver dug a hole in the ground and hid the master's money. After a long time, the master returned." I'm just struggling, just trying to keep up today. Okay, all right. After a long time, their master returned from his trip and called them to give an account of how they had used his money. The servant to whom he had entrusted the 5 bags of silver came forward with 5 more and said, "Master, you gave me 5 bags of silver to invest, and I have earned 5 more." The master was full of praise. "Well done, my good and faithful servant. You have been faithful in handling this small amount, so I will give you many more responsibilities. Let's celebrate together." The servant who had received the 2 bags of silver came forward and said, "Master, you gave me 2 bags of silver to invest, and I have earned 2 more." The master said, "Well done, my good and faithful servant. You have been faithful in handling this small amount, so now I will give you many more responsibilities. Let's celebrate together." Then the servant with 1 bag of silver came and said, "Master, I knew you were a harsh man, harvesting crops you didn't plant and gathering crops you didn't cultivate. I was afraid I would lose your money, so I hid it in the earth. Look, here is your money back." So the master replied, "You wicked and lazy servant. If you knew I harvested crops I didn't plant and gathered crops I didn't cultivate, why didn't you deposit my money in the bank? At least I could have gotten some interest on it." Then he ordered, "Take the money from this servant and give it to the one with the 10 bags of silver. To those who use well what they are given, even more will be given, and they will have an abundance. But from those who do nothing, even what little they have will be taken away. Now, throw this useless servant into outer darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth." All right. Well done, my good and faithful servant. You have been faithful in handling this small amount, so now I will give you many more responsibilities. The first part, we long to hear it. I attended the celebration of life of my dear friend Jerry Potter today. He has heard those words from Jesus as he was welcomed into God's eternal kingdom. Why? Well, he was not perfect, but he was someone who loved Jesus with all of his heart. When asked about the service that we attended, his number 1 goal was that everyone there would hear about and experience Jesus. It was obvious from the pictures that he loved people, his family, his church, his friends, and his coworkers. He loved justice and worked for it as a longtime police officer. I could go on, but I do not want to detract from the focus of Jerry's life. Jesus, family, friends, co-workers, church. Oh wait, oh wait, oh wait. One other. In our time of ministry in Cedar Rapids, there was a troubled and fearful teen girl that came into our youth group. She had such a troubled past, none of it her fault, and she became loved by Jerry and Mary and their 2 children. So much so that at the service today, 3 children were recognized, and another that was a close friend sat with us. This was love in action. Well done, good and faithful servant. But what about the rest of the statement? What if, when this life is over, what if it's not forever retirement or a forever a party? After all, Jesus said, let's celebrate. What if it's not a forever party? What if it's not a forever worship service? What if Jesus was serious when he said, okay, a couple of things here. Thanks for your patience. My mind is just like boggled today. I can't find things. Oh my goodness. Okay. He said, to those who use well what they are given, even more will be given, and they will have an abundance. But from those who do nothing, even what little they have will be taken away. And then, you've been faithful in handling this small amount, so now I will give you many more responsibilities. So, what if our reward for a life well lived is more responsibility, more to do? What if on the other side of eternity, for those who have walked the narrow road, what if that is the abundant life Jesus intended for us from the beginning? Remember? Go back to the garden with me. When Adam and Eve would work the garden during the day and walk with God in the cool of the evening. God created us to find joy in working, in accomplishing, in bringing back an abundance for our efforts. It was the enemy who came in and spoiled it with all his talk of shortcuts and be like God and what's in it for me, me, me. What if Jerry is alive and well and laboring, and at the end of a hard day's work, it's time to head out to the garden and walk with the Lord in the cool of the day? Well done, Jerry. Enjoy your walk. And for you and me, let's work and live so that we can have a life well lived on this side of eternity, and on the other side, that we would hear the words, yes, well done, good and faithful servant, and that God would give us more responsibility, more work to do, so that we could work hard in the day and walk with Jesus in the cool of the evening in the garden. God bless you.